Well, good morning. I'm Nick May with Walls by Design, and you have joined me for Coffee with Nick. And I thought today that I would talk a little bit about exterior painting. I looked at two projects over the weekend, and one of the things that has become clear to me this year is that, exterior painting is definitely more of a maintenance. People aren't excited about having to do exterior painting. And for most people, they put it off, just waiting on when the HOA notices that they need to paint, right? And so I feel like that's a big mistake. And I'm going to share with you a program that we do. And I think more people should go with this model versus the constant repainting of the whole house. And I came up with this, I think, really last year. I had painted this house right after we first moved in, maybe a year or two after we moved in. Didn't like the color. It was, we had just bought the house, and it was time for it to be painted. Now, if you're in that situation, by all means, let's repaint the house. I think most people, they get set on kind of a color scheme, and they're not going to change colors. So, I mean, if it's been 20 years since you've changed colors, maybe it's, every second time you repaint the whole entire house, you're going to maybe change colors because trends just change and people want something different. But I think for the vast majority of people, they're not wanting to change colors. But as you look around the house, you realize that there are, sides of your house that don't look great. And so, for most people, that's going to be on the north side of the house, the south side of the house. So for most people, that's going to be the south side of the house. That's going to get the most exposure. And most people aren't a perfect, north, south, east, west situation. So most people are probably, crooked a little bit in there. And so you got one or two sides that get the heavy exposure. And so what we started to do, and we've done a couple of these already this year, and I'm pricing out another one right now, is we have a $2,000 refresh. And what that includes is a painter for 2 days or two painters for 1 day. Just depends on the situation of the house and, how high we have to, work and that kind of thing. But what we can do then is we can typically paint a full side, sometimes two sides. It just depends on how much you have to prep off. And then we can also kind of address kind of windows. And so what we did, so last summer, we had one side of my house, which was the back side of my house. And it was, we get a lot of exposure to the sun. I just had one of our guys come out for basically, it was 2 days. And he not only was able to spray that side of the house with one smaller side up in front that was already starting to fade. And then I just had him go around the house and re-caulk, because caulking does not last in Colorado. Went around and re-caulked windows and then paint those windows. And then this year, we ended up having some siding problems due to, and this is on the north side of the house. So the north side, the problem that the north side can have is because it doesn't get as much sun. It's not a sun fading, it's not a color fading issue, but it can be failure. And with the type of wood or siding that we have in Colorado, it's this press board. Because it doesn't get the sun, it doesn't heat up, it doesn't dry nearly as fast. So water actually tends to sit on that side of the house longer. And the water will, typically, if you look at the siding, it will bead up down on the underside. And so it wears out that under layer. And that's where, if that paint gets too thin and then it eventually opens up, then it just kind of swells up like a sponge. Well, we had that issue going on, and we had a gutter that wasn't flashed properly. Didn't realize that until we took all the siding off that side of the house. So we ended up replacing about 400 or 500 square feet of siding. Now the great thing is now that siding isn't going to need to be replaced ever, because we installed this OSB stuff that you literally can put it in a bucket of water and nothing's going to happen to it. So anyways, replaced the siding at the end of last season, too late. and then just didn't get it painted. And so then we had a letter because we had to paint that side of the house. So this year I had the guys come back out and again, just paint one side of the house and then go through all of our other trim and just tighten things up. You're probably not going to be able to do, or probably not going to need to do that every year. But now, the south end of my house and the east side of my house has been repainted, so I won't probably need to do anything for several more years. Well, I take that back. We have not done the north side, so next summer we'll probably have to do the south. I'm getting mixed up with my directions. That's our north side. That's our south side. So next summer, the south side probably going to need to do something, and then we should be good. So if you are like, hey, I don't want to spend $7,000-8,000 to repaint my whole entire house, we just do this $2,000 refresh. Now we would have you provide the paint for us, and then you just basically get somebody for 2 days. And for most people, that is more than enough for what their home needs. And so hopefully that's a good resource for you, and that's a great out from having to repaint the whole entire house. Now, obviously, if you want to change colors, we got to do everything. Then if we change colors, then we have to paint 2 coats. That's the other thing when we're just doing this refresh. A lot of times we can get away with just doing 1 coat, but because it's so easy to put a second coat on once we've prepped off, it doesn't take us much to just go ahead and do 2 coats. We make sure that everything is sealed up properly, and we've got good coverage. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully that answers some questions on how to get your exterior painted this year without breaking the bank. Cheers.